Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're doing well out there. So currently it is June 2022, which means we are creeping up almost to the official start of summer. And as you've probably heard in the news, there's a lot of heat waves popping up at this time of the year around the country. And I thought it would be a good idea to do a quick video on 3 easy ways to prevent you or someone you know from getting heat stroke or getting overheated during the summer. So let's get into the video. So for those of you who don't know what heat stroke is actually a serious medical condition that can occur when your body reaches temperatures of up to 105 degrees or higher. So normally your body rests around 96 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is because of many different sorts of mechanisms that help cool your body down. So like sweating is a good one, and signaling your body to drink water through thirst. Those are 2 examples of mechanisms that help cool your body. So when someone's body isn't able to keep up with the environment around them, such as a very hot day where the person's out under the sun all day and their body isn't able to cool down to 96 degrees Fahrenheit, that is when someone can make their way closer towards getting into heat stroke. So some of the most common symptoms that align with heat stroke are dizziness, altered mental status, otherwise known as not acting like yourself, fatigue, excess thirst, and profuse sweating. So if someone is displaying any of those symptoms and you have the environment around you that suggests maybe heat stroke, maybe that person might need to call for help or correct some of their issues with some of the tips we'll talk about in this video. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, make sure to comment down below your favorite way to stay cool in the summer. And also, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to smash the like button down below and also subscribe because it helps my channel grow. So thank you for supporting, and let's get back to the rest of the video. So the first tip to help you stay cool this summer is to stay well hydrated. So this is a very generic statement that all of us probably heard somewhere, and we know that obviously we need to drink something every day to stay well hydrated. But I think the biggest question that a lot of people aren't quite sure about is how much fluids should we actually have in one day. So for typical adults, the total amount of fluids, so everything that you eat and drink, should total about 2.5 to 3 liters, and sometimes even total a max of like 4 liters a day. So this is very common and something that most adults should try to shoot for. A good rule of thumb is that you should drink about 8-ounce glasses of water a day, and that should take about most of your fluid intake, and then when you add whatever you eat for the day, that should almost amount to about 2 to 3 liters a day. Another example of this would be to drink about 5 or 6 12-ounce cans worth of fluids. So probably soda is not a good idea, but something like sparkling water or something healthy. This is just a good visualization of how many ounces of fluid you should drink a day. So for children, hydration is super important. Usually comes in the form of milk, formula, or water, some sort of combination. And as the kiddo gets older, the sort of intake requirements change. So it's a little bit more complicated. For instance, for a 3 to 6 month old, they might require only half a cup, whereas an 8-year-old might require 8 cups, which is closer to the adult intake, right? So I'll put sort of an example of what you might expect right here, and I'll put some resources below if you're interested in checking out the actual like recommended intake for kiddos. But it should again only be maybe like milk, formula, or water. And again, you want to pay attention to the kiddo's weight and also their age. So some things you might want to think about when you're thinking about your fluid intake is, 1, what is the color of your pee? So if it's on the darker yellow shade versus the lighter yellow shade, maybe you need to adjust your fluid intake, and maybe you're not getting enough or you're getting just the right amount. Another thing you want to think about is your health conditions. If you're someone with heart failure, maybe you might need to limit your fluids based on an agreement that you and your physician make between you two. So maybe you might want to come up with an action plan with your physician for hot days where you might want to bump up your fluid limit so that way you don't exacerbate your heart failure, but you also don't dehydrate and get overheated. So that's something to think about with you and your physician. Another thing you want to think about is the types of fluids that you're intaking on a daily basis. So drinks that contain caffeine, high sugar content drinks, and also alcohol are 3 beverages that we all consume a lot on a daily basis, but might actually impede our hydration levels. So caffeine is a natural diuretic, so you might be increasing your amount of pee, and if you don't replace that with other fluids, you might dehydrate yourself much faster. Alcohol can actually mess or slow down the mechanisms that help adjust your core temperature, so that is something that might increase your risk of heat stroke. And drinks that contain a lot of sugar might not be great for you. First of all, might make you feel more dehydrated, and also might increase your urine output. So the second tip to keep yourself cool during the summer is to wear light, loose-fitted, and light-colored clothing. So this is another generic tip that a lot of people follow or recommend, but don't actually know the reason behind it. So wearing light, loose-fitted clothing can help increase airflow to the parts of your body that are covered that have sweat. So again, one mechanism of cooling your body is to have sweat evaporate off your body, so that way the air or the heat radiates off. So when you wear loose-fitted clothing, you allow airflow to go under your shirt or under your clothes and evaporate all the sweat from under your clothes, and therefore cool your body in those areas that might be hard to cool and are a little bit more hotter because there's clothes on them, right? So another thing is with light colored clothing, such as wearing a white shirt versus a black shirt, the lighter the color of the clothing you wear, that was a tongue twister, the less amount of heat will be absorbed. So if you wear a black shirt versus a white shirt or yellow shirt outdoors in a sunny area, the person with the black shirt might feel a lot hotter, retain more heat, and therefore their body might need to work a little bit harder to cool themselves off, whereas the white shirt person or the person wearing the lighter color might be able to reflect some of that sunlight and heat and therefore not retain any of that heat and stay cooler for a longer period of time. So put some pictures around here somewhere showing kind of how they studied this, and basically the thing is, if you want to retain less heat, then wear something lighter. So the third tip to stay cool during the summer is to stay in a place that's cool and has really good airflow and circulation. So obviously this is a tip that a lot of people know about, but do you actually know about it, right? No. So what you want to do is if you can, try to stay in a place that has AC and at least some good circulation with some fans. And the reason for that is, again, one of the mechanisms of our body is to sweat to help cool itself off. When the air flies and tries to evaporate the sweat, you're making heat leave your body. So that's one of the big mechanisms. Another thing is that a lot of people in the United States and probably around the world don't actually have a working AC. So what you might want to do is look for a place like a local library, a mall, somewhere where you can stay for a little bit, at least until it gets a little bit cooler at night, so that way you can stay cool without burning in your own house. One thing that I noticed recently is with my 2005 Hyundai Elantra that actually broke down and the AC didn't work. So one easy fix I did at home was to just recharge the AC, so that way when I'm driving around and going to work and things like that, I didn't burn up in my own car. So those are some things we don't really think about, but maybe now's a good time before summer officially hits to just double check your AC, find places locally nearby that will keep a cool area for you to stay, and also check up on your car AC. And if you can, it's a 5-minute fix that you could probably find on YouTube to do for your own car, and that way you can stay cool for the summer at least. So bonus tip for you guys is tip number 4. What you want to do to help loved ones and yourself and other people stay away from getting heat stroke is to just check in with them 2 or 3 times a day. So some of the most high risk individuals that can get heat stroke or are prone to heat stroke are young kiddos and also elderly individuals with chronic diseases. So what you want to do is just try to check in with these populations of patients as much as possible. Make sure that if you're talking to them on the phone and you're asking them the simple questions like, are you feeling dizzy? Are you sweating? Have you had enough to drink today? Those sorts of calls can make a difference between someone getting corrected at home and preventing heat stroke versus someone having to go call an ambulance and go to the hospital just because they got overheated. So I encourage you this summer, if you have any relatives that live alone that are elderly, or checking up on your own kiddo throughout the day and seeing how much they're intaking throughout the day. Those are some ways that you can prevent heat stroke and prevent someone from going to the hospital for something that is actually preventable. So that was 3 tips and also 1 bonus tip on how to stay cool during the summer and prevent heat stroke. Make sure that if you made it this far in the video that you like and subscribe below. Make sure to share this with those who you think will benefit from this video. I know that these are some things that we've learned as growing up as children, right? Staying hydrated, staying in a cool place, wearing light colored clothing, but there's actually more to this than just the 3 tips, and you can actually customize this to help your own specific lifestyle. So again, thank you. Hope this was helpful to you. Comment down below your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.